Unit 4, Day 2 homework tutorial. I will help work out every odd problem. On this first section, we're going to find the value of x. We know that the triangle sum theorem states that the angles of each triangle will add up to 180. So that means x plus 47 plus 58 equals 180. That means x plus 47 and 58 would give you 105 is 180. So that means x is going to be 75. On number 3, we know that this is a 90-degree angle right here because of the square. And that would cut out some of our work because that means the other two would have to equal 90 for the total sum to be 180. So that means 3x minus 1 plus 31 equals 90. All right. You can subtract 1 from 31. You would have 3x plus 30 equals 90. Then subtract 30 from both sides. That would give you 3x equals 60. And then divide both sides by 3. So x equals 20. On number 5, we'd have an exterior angle equaling to 100 degrees. And we know that the other two angles sum should equal that exterior angle. So that means 2x plus 3 plus 51 should equal 100. I can add 3 with 51, so that would give me 2x plus 54 equals 100. Now I can subtract 54 from both sides. So that would give me 2x equals 46. Then divide both sides by 2. So x equals 23. All right, for the bottom section, they want us to find the measure of each angle. The first one we're going to find is angle 1. We know that angle 1 forms a linear pair with the 68 down there. So we know that 1 plus 68 is 180. So subtract 68 from both sides, so that angle 1 is going to equal 1, 8, 12. 112 degrees. Angle 3. Angle 3, we would need to know some more information in order to find angle 3. This one you would have to probably find angle 2 first in order to get angle 3. there's a right angle right beside angle 3. And that means angle 3 and the right angle are a linear pair. So angle 3 equals 90 degrees. So we know this is 90. We know that this is 112. Okay? So that means 4 is also 90. And we know that 2 is 68 because of that vertical relationship. So to find angle 5, we know that angle 5 and angle 2 have to equal 90 degrees. So 5 plus 68 will equal 90 degrees. So if I subtract 68, angle 5 would be 22. Alrighty. On this page, or this side of the page, they only want us to find the measure of angle x. So x plus 52 and 43, so that is 95. So x plus 95 is 180. So that means x would be 180 minus 95, which would give us 85 degrees. On number 3, this is a right triangle. So these two other angles should equal 90 degrees. So that means 2x minus 2 plus x plus 5 equals 90 degrees. Combine my like terms, so that's 3x plus 3 equals 90 degrees. Subtract 3 from both sides. 3x equals 87. And divide both sides by 3. So x would equal 87 divided by 3. Let's get our handy dandy calculator. 29. And we don't need the degree symbol this time because x is not the whole angle. X is part of the angle. On number 5, x happens to be every single angle in the picture, which means it's equiangular. So that means x plus x plus x equals 180. In other words, 3x equals 180. So that means x has to be 60 degrees. So whenever it's equiangular, it's always going to be 60 degrees, just FYI. All right, on number 7, x is here on 2 places. So first I would need to know what this angle is here so that it would be the same here because of the vertical bow tie effect. So let's just call this y. All right, so y plus 43 and 57 would be this angle here. Or I'm sorry, would be 180. So y plus 100 equals 180. So that means y is 80. So this angle here is 80 degrees, which means this angle here is 80 degrees. Okay, now that we know that x plus 80 is 180 degrees. So that means 2x plus 80 is 180 degrees. Subtract 80 from both sides, so that means 2x equals 100. So that means x has to be 50. On number 9, they show us some exterior angles, so we're going to have to use that theorem to answer the question. We know that the two bottom angles, right here and here, are exactly the same. Okay, that kind of helps. Let's call them y. So we know that these two will equal this one, but we need to know what this one is first. All right. We know that, let's call them y again. So we know that there's two y's and then a 44, right? So 2y plus 44 is 180, right? So if we subtract 44, we know that 2y's is equal to 180 minus 44, which is 136. And then divide by 2, so that means y equals 136 divided by 2, 63. That's that mental math, folks. Is it 63? I'm sorry, 68. 68. That makes more sense. All right. So that means each one of these green ones is 68. Boom. And I know that the green one and x form a linear pair, so that equals to 180 degrees. So that means x plus 68 is 180. Subtract 68 from both sides, so that means x equals 112 degrees. So we didn't exactly use the external angles theorem for that one. I'm sure there might be a way to use it to get to the answer. There's not only one way to get to the answer, just make sure you get to the answer appropriately. All right, number 11. We know that this angle will be the sum of the other two angles that are provided in the picture. So let's set up the equation. We're going to need a lot of space for this. So let me clear my screen. And I'm going to write it up here. So I know that 2x plus 103 minus x will equal 6x minus 7, according to the exterior angles theorem. All right, I can combine this 2x with that minus x and be left with just x plus 103 equals 6x minus 7. Then I would subtract x from both sides, so that would leave me with 103 equals 5x minus 7. Then I would add 7 to both sides, so that gives me 110 equals 5x. Then divide both sides by 5, and that would give me 52. I know that 50, no, sorry, 110 divided by 5. Let's go to the handy dandy calculator. My mental brain is starting to fry. 110 divided by 5, 22. I was close. So 22 equals x for number 11. And last but not least, number 13. There's a lot of symbols going on in this picture that you need to be familiar with. Those two hash marks or tick marks indicate that this small triangle here is an isosceles triangle because those two sides are the same. Then on the isosceles triangle, you notice that the two bottom angles are the same. All right. Then the other triangle, the little narrow one, happens to be isosceles as well because those two bottom angles are the same and those two sides are the same. So there's several ways, I'm sure, to get to the x for this one. What I would do is figure out these two arcs first, and then I know that it should equal x because, well, let's work it out. No, it might not necessarily, it might be x, but not necessarily. Let's work it out. It might take a long while, but we'll get there. We'll get to the answer. So let me clear my screen so we have a lot of room to work. So I know that these two arcs, again, I'm going to call them y's. So there's two y's plus a 56, and that's going to give me 180, right? And then, so that means 2y is equal to 180 minus 56, which is 124. Then y would be 124 divided by 2, so 62. Okay, so that means both of these are 62. Okay. Now that I know that those both are 62, then I know that this angle forms a linear, 62 forms a linear pair with this angle here. So 180 minus 62 would be 118. So this one is 118. And now I can connect that with x because I know that there's going to be two x's. Anytime you have an isosceles, the two angles beneath the two sides will be x's. So there's two x's plus the 118 would give you 180. Okay? So that means 2x equals 180 minus 118, which would end up being 82. No, sorry, 72. 62. 62 divided by 2 would be 31. So x is 31. Yeah, that took a lot of steps to get to x. If you know a faster, easier way and it makes sense, by all means, let me know. I'm curious. But this concludes your tutorial for this assignment.